Good, fine, early morning, YouTube. This is a bit of a ASMR style video. Now, before we begin, a couple things. I took my staff off the vice clamp, and I noticed the second chain that I put on it was falling off. So to fix that issue, the two sections of Velcro that I glued together right here and the two sections of Velcro that I glued right here are going to be glued together like that so that the second chain doesn't fall off the staff. I had a bunch of wand tape wrapped around this top section of it. I took it off, and there's a bunch of dry glue. It didn't dry clear, so I painted it green. I thought I had clear drying Gorilla Glue when I was fixing it back up. I would have added that, but I have the advantage of that now, so that when I go to put the final touches on the handle of my staff, it'll look pretty good for the most part. Also, I'll be giving a shout out to an individual and doing, I guess you could say, it's kind of a cooking video, but not really. I mean, I'm making sushi pizza nachos, which sounds weird as fuck, but that's why you watch this kind of shit, isn't it? So I'll take those four sections of things right here and then glue them here, just like that. That'll help with the handle of my staff. Now the wand tape line starts right about here, then goes down. The Mod Podge that I put on the tape and on the paint and all over the staff hardened the tape up. And this thing looks fucking sick. Less tape around the top and by the crystal, letting the glue and the wires that I used to wrap around the quartz hold it in place with that glue. The hole's deep enough that it fits the crystal nice and snug. It ain't coming out. I used broken guitar strings, or actually, I don't remember if they were broken or not, but I used guitar strings primarily around the base of that. Now, speaking of quartz crystalled wands, I have a scepter to complete for KINGCOBRAJFS wands, and that should be completed in the next couple of days or so. Hopefully. If I manage to make a decent amount of spending money, I can use that to make a shit ton of spending money, you know, so. Take care of bills on the third and that sort of thing. But, yeah. No, the Gorilla Glue I used for this staff doesn't dry clear. And on top of that, I put a shit ton of it in the hole where the crystal went so that it would stay in place. And then I put a bunch of tape around it when it got hardened enough. Now I took the tape off, and you can actually see the fucking crystal floating on top of the stick. So taking a little bit of that tape off to reveal all the wires and shit that I used to wrap around the stick, it looks a bit more mystical and more magical, you know. And the staff definitely feels a lot more free on the energy, so to speak. But these 4 sections right here are going to get glued together. That'll attach the chains to the handle of my staff very nicely. But in order to do that, we're going to need to make some room on the vice clamp. Open that up right quick. And we're also going to need, open the vice clamp up, and we're also going to need some of that Gorilla Glue. This stuff, as you can see, dries clear. Says so on the label. This is the glue I use for my wands, especially if they're crystal wands. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit dries clear, so when you put the crystal in there. But unfortunately, I didn't have any of this particular kind. When the quartz crystal popped out of my staff, didn't break, just popped out. And when I went to go glue it back into place, I made the hole deeper so it could fit the crystal better and more snugly. And the only glue I had on hand was Gorilla Glue, period. That didn't dry clear. So it didn't dry clear. So then when I took the tape off, I'm like, okay. How to make this look more badass with the fact that, okay, that shit didn't dry clear. A little bit of spray paint, some Mod Podge, and yeah, that looks sick as shit. So now we got the chains adjusted to the perfect length. I can literally take these 4 bits, glue them up just like that right there, and have it squeezed to the stick just like that, so they sit nice flat. So I thought the staff was done, and then literally walking home with it, the second chain decided to pop off, and I'm like, okay, now, thinking as I'm walking home, how can we make it so the staff has both chains on it and they don't fall off? Examining it while I walked home, I figured out a solution. But literally completing the staff at the point of a full moon, I might add. Last night's moon was full, and then literally tonight's moon, not quite a full moon, but starting to turn on the second half of that cycle. So not too bad of a time to complete a staff, really, at the height of the moon's full energy potential. And I've noticed that when the moon's full, people act weird, to say the least. Not just myself, but I put a pinch of glue right there, enough to hold it in place. And checking my fingertips, no glue has been put on the fingertips. Excellent. So I want to hold those pieces together and give it a good squeeze while I carry it over to the vice clamp. I'll transfer the staff to the drying station one last time without getting glue on the fingertips, preferably. Excellent catch. There we go. The lighting's a bit dim, but I have it hanging up on the vice clamp by the spots where I glued it. And I pinched it right there so I could create a small loop right there where my finger's at. And as soon as I let go of it, it fell forward, being pinched by that section right there, and almost knocked this gorgeous can of hunter green spray paint off the shelf here. This is the shade of green, the hunter green, that I used right here. Alright, so now that we got the wand drying, let's take a look at this collection that I got so far. Take a look at that. This is the second batch of wands that I have started. I have one left to finish. It's looking pretty sweet. These stickers are going to be for the certificates. Make it more official. Alright, so the sushi's going on at the very last moment. Shout out to the fan who sent those. And before I get into making the pizza sushi nachos, I had a fan that sent me 4 cases of ramen. And this is the Amazon note that came with it. It said, "Hey, Cobra, love the ASMR on YouTube. Ramen slurp these up, bro. Yeah. Love from, let's see, Justin, aka Plux or Puck Slapper, yeah, Puck Slapper 480. So shout out to Puck Slapper 480. Thank you for the 4 cases of ramen. What flavor is it? It's green chili. So I'll be doing a shirt review / ramen noodle review later on in the week, because I got an awesome shirt that a fan had sent me, and yeah. But I would have done a regular pizza with the last of my sushi, but I'm cleaning my pizza stone right now, so yeah. Now that I'm done using the glue for my staff, it's important to recap it. Now, why would you want to recap your Gorilla Glue? Can anybody tell me? Well, if you don't know the answer, YouTube, I'll tell you. It's so that your Gorilla Glue doesn't dry out in the tube. You notice that the lid has a groove in it, so that when you recap your Gorilla Glue and put the lid on nice and tight after using it, it keeps your glue fresh, so that you saw how easy that was to just, you know what I'm saying? But Gorilla Glue is nothing to fuck around with. This is some seriously strong glue, so use some caution when using this. But yeah, getting that staff completed at the height of a descending full moon. Like when I picked up a staff earlier after the glue dried on those 4 sections, I was like, damn. And it was working for a bit, and then the second chain wanted to fall off, and I'm like, nope, not having it. Get back on there. So how do you make sushi pizza nachos? What the fuck is this weird shit? Well, I'm going to put the glue back on the wand workbench, and we'll get into it. Stove's a little bit messy, but I put some oven cleaner on it earlier. So, as you can see, I've been doing dishes. YouTube. I did dishes earlier. My trusty burger pan needs to be cleaned out, so I'm going to do that. So before I do any more like burger recipes or like pizza recipes, got to make sure that, you know, taking care of business over here. But this rag is already nice and wet, so watch what happens when oh, look at that. You're not just getting a cooking video, but you're also seeing me clean up the grease off the stove here. And this is accumulated from all the bacon cheeseburgers that I be cooking up in this bitch. Cause that's kind of what I do on YouTube. I do calzones, pizzas, bacon cheeseburgers, you know, recipes like that are delicious and easy as fuck to make. I mean, there's 10,000 different variants you could do of those recipes. I might be over-exaggerating just a little bit, but now the trick to cleaning your oven, I used fume-free oven cleaner. I sprayed it on the grease, let it sit for a couple hours, and then you come back with a very mild damp cloth. You can literally wipe it up. I mean, people on YouTube are going to be like, oh, your stove's disgusting, oh, your pan's disgusting, nah, 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 nah. You know, I'm a bachelor. I'm the one eating the food. I don't care. You know, maybe I'll take you along for the journey, show you how I make my crazy random food, and that becomes a thing on YouTube. Like, what fucking gross concoction is this autistic motherfucker gonna make now? You know, and that's the fucking thing of it, YouTube. That's what draws people in. So some people are gonna be a fan of sushi, and some people are gonna be like, that shit's fucking gross, you know. So like I said in my YouTube video strike video, you don't like sushi, so why the fuck are you watching the video where I put sushi in the recipe? Speaking of which, I got some Philadelphia sushi rolls from the same company, Bonsai, the same company that made the awesome sushi in the last video I used it in. And this time around I found that once I de-thawed it, it actually tasted pretty good. So once it's de-thawed properly, it tastes delicious. And this one had a lid that was easier to open. I know sometimes in the factory when they're laying the plastic down to seal it, to keep it fresh, sometimes that plastic tab breaks off when you're trying to open it. And I was kind of dealing with that shit for the bacon sushi cheeseburger video. Didn't let it get to me. And then I fucking spill a bunch of seasoning all over my stove. Didn't let it get to me. And after I get done cooking the burger, I sneezed. I had to stop, blow my nose, wash my hands, get back to the video. And that's the problem I have with my deep fried avocado videos. I had a great recipe making deep fried avocado slices, but I didn't see the fucking booger hanging out of my nose, and someone pointed it out in the comment section. I rewatched the video and I'm like, son of a bitch. So I try to make cooking videos that are somewhat appealing, even if, you know, the food isn't to your taste. I mean, if you don't want to add sushi to this recipe, you don't have to. Making some pizza nachos without sushi is good, but this just ups the weirdness of it. So, you know, you don't want to add sushi to this recipe, you really don't fucking have to. I'm doing it because I like sushi. Plain and simple. I mean, pizza nachos by themselves are pretty fucking dank, so it looks 1,000 times better, doesn't it, YouTube? All that grease cleaned up. And this is the less than fun part about cooking, is cleaning up your workstation. But that's looking 10,000 times better. Now, cleaning your oven's not the funnest, but it needs to be done. Go ahead and let that rag sit in the sink there, and kind of wring it out just a little bit. Now, I thoroughly rinse my rags out before I wash dishes with them, because you don't want to be washing your rags with that shit on it. Before I make the nachos, Let's set the camera down. And you want to wash the hands before we cook, or make, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Oh, King Cobra, sounds like he's been drinking again. Well, yes, I have. I've had a little bit of Jack Daniels to drink, but I'm 27. I'm autistic. I have cataracts, ADD, ADHD. I'm old enough to drink, so it's none of y'all's business. But in case you're wondering why my speech is a little bit slurred, so we're going to need to produce a plate for these nachos. 1 second. Move this huge stack out of the way for just a second. There we go. Alright. Got a plate. Let's see. Make sure that we're facing the plate here. Just the plate's right here. Okay, cool. Got the plate on camera. Excellent. Let's see. If you're gonna make nachos with melted cheese, these are the chips to do it with, people. If you're gonna make dank-ass nachos, why not use Doritos nacho cheese chips? I'm just fucking saying. You already put corn chips on nachos to begin with. You already put cheese on your nachos. 2 birds, 1 stone. Oh yeah. Welcome to another segment of Cooking with Cobra, and today we're making sushi pizza nachos. Now that we've got our plate full of nachos, or chips at least, right there, just like that. Nice little pile right there. Now this is the sushi I'll be putting. This is the sushi I'll be putting on the end, at the end. These are Philadelphia cream cheese rolls. As I mentioned before, this one had a lip on it that was easier to open when I got it open. And I had a couple after it was de-thawed earlier. And these are definitely, most definitely what's up. I'm not going to need, like, I don't think I'm going to need all the sauce for this. But I'm definitely going to be putting wasabi and at least 1 packet of soy sauce onto it. So before we get to the final ingredient, we're going to need to add a couple things to these chips. So I'll take you along on that journey. I take some pizza sauce and put it on top first. This jar doesn't want to open up. Looks like I'm gonna have to use my autistic strength to open it. Hashtag arm flex. There we go. Look at these biceps, though. Get it. Oop, I just spilled some on the towel. That was smooth. That, of course, is why we have a towel on top of my counter. Just because I try to make shit like this, and sometimes I spill shit, so it just helps to be pre-prepared. At this point, it's like chips and salsa almost. So the concept makes sense. I mean, how do you like them apples? That motherfucker is cold at the bottom of it. Okay, no, that's just, no. That doesn't want to come out. No, it's just, Hold on a fucking second. Same sauce, smaller jar. Oh, and it's fresh. There we go. That jar was practically empty anyway, so I want to use the last of our ingredients. Don't want to waste any of it. And a little bit more sauce on the top here. And strategically place it around the chips here. Try to make it look nice and pretty on camera. How that piece of sauce be tasting? Yep, that piece of sauce is on point. Get you in on the hold on a second. Get you in on the action here in a second. Just splash more of that sauce. There we go. Get you in on the action. There's your sauce right there on top, looking nice. Next, we're gonna add some mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella cheese on nachos is dank as shit because it melts the quickest. Get you that nice nacho cheese string pull effect. Finding creative ways to eat sushi. This is definitely a creative way to eat sushi. I mean, this is kind of a stretch. This is combining a bunch of different food cultures into one video. So some people are going to look at this and go, that looks nasty as fuck. Why the fuck would you put sushi on nachos, you sick bastard? And some of you may look at this going, oh fucking yeah, I gotta try this. Music is like food. You got diverse taste. Ain't that the fucking truth? But that right there looks like just about the perfect amount of cheese. There we go. There's our layer of cheese right there. Let's bring the camera a little bit closer to the plate, just like that. Alright. I'm gonna add some more cheese to it. We'll see how I'm feeling. But wouldn't be pizza nachos without some pepperoni. Let's go ahead and tear that off and open it up. There we go. Put some pepperoni on here. Don't need a whole lot of pepperoni on this, just enough to, you know. And I'm allowed to sneak a pepperoni because I'm making it. Alright. Now, sneaking a pepperoni, that's what I like to call chef privilege. You could even call this cooking something. What you mean, you're making nachos, which is a very basic form of cooking, but it's not like you're making a 5-star meal here. You're making something to munch out on. Got the pepperonis strategically placed on top, just like that. And make sure those pepperonis are nice and sealed. Onto the nachos. Go back to our friend, Mr. or Mrs., however you look at it. Go back to our friend, the mozzarella cheese. And do a nice little sprinkle on top of those pepperonis. This will ensure that when the cheese melts, that it'll stick to the top of these chips a little bit better. And there's already so much cheese on the bottom of them, you don't need a whole lot. But just enough to kind of, you know, yeah, there we go. That looks magnificent. Do another little sprinkle. I mean, if you wanted to cook up bacon and burger to go with it, this is the point you do it. You cook up your burger patty and your bacon, get it fully cooked, chop it up, sprinkle it on top, add more cheese if you want. You know what I'm saying? But this is good enough for now. What I got right here. It's a nice looking plate of nachos. I'm gonna hit that with some seasoning. Don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. And as you can see, this is not a heavy sprinkle of seasoning, just a little bit to sprinkle on the top. Nice little sprinkle of Tony's. That looks pretty good so far, YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, that's looking pretty dank. So I'm gonna put it in the microwave for 1:34 minutes. And the goal is to get the cheese nice and stringy and melted, but not overcooked and burnt to shit. So, yeah, you want to watch it, you know, minute 34 on a very powerful microwave should be enough, but if it's not, 44 seconds more should be enough. But yeah, shout out to Bonsai Sushi Company. This will be the final ingredient on the nachos. And the sushi, once it's de-thawed, is nice and squishy, like sushi's supposed to be. And as you can see, it's a little bit empty because I had some earlier, and it was delicious. I saved the wasabi and the soy sauce for these nachos, so I would have done a burger or a pizza, but the items I used to make those things need to be cleaned, so yeah. Try to add a bit more professionalism to the cooking videos. 16 seconds. A little bit longer. Cause that's a lot of fucking cheese, man. Timed cook. Give it a 44-second burst. You don't want to overdo it on the cheese. I mean, if you over melt the cheese, it gets crispy on the edges. I mean, some people like crispy melted cheese on the edge, but I don't know, just for good nachos, you want the cheese to be nice and melted, and nice and gooey, stringy. You pull a chip up and it's like whoa, 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 you know. I mean, if you didn't want to add sushi to your chips at this point, once these are said and done, this would be good enough. I got another 7 seconds. That actually looks pretty melted. It's a little bit gooey. Holy fuckamole, those nachos are nice and hot. A 34-second burst. I want the perfect consistency on these, man. Nice, stringy like guitar strings, man. And this is why we're adding the sushi to the nachos at the very end. I don't want warm sushi. I mean, it didn't taste half bad on the burger, but if I would have waited for that sushi to de-thaw, if I would have waited for that sushi to de-thaw like I did with the sushi over there, yeah, now we're talking. Look at that. That is perfect. A nice gooey puddle. Look at that in the light. Oh, look at that, YouTube. Goddamn. Now, at this point, if you wanted to stop, you have pizza nachos. But it wouldn't be pizza nachos with sushi without adding a little bit of sushi, so. Set the camera down once more. Grab up our sushi. Now, once I waited for this sushi to de-thaw, it tasted magnificent. And this second case was much easier to open. Maybe I didn't open the first one right, or maybe the factory that made it forgot to add a lip. Because the second one had a lip at the corner, I could just whoosh, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Bonsai Sushi Company. Shout out to Doritos. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 pieces of Philadelphia cream cheese sushi rolls on top here. Strategically placed, just like that. That looks good. And then we're going to take the sauce right here, which has a tear on it right here. Yeah, 1 packet of soy sauce is all I needed for this particular plate. That's nice that they have an extra pack just in case you want it. A little bit of soy sauce for flavor. It's going to soak into the cheese. And then, of course, the final ingredient, our delicious but very spicy friend, wasabi. Now, if the other pack had a tear in it where you could just peel it and open it, this one should too. And this one doesn't want to open up nearly as easily. Hold on a second, YouTube. Now, I found a pair of pliers on my wand workbench that I could probably use to open up this packet of sushi. There we go. So if you got like pliers or scissors, you should be able to open it up. Just like that. Okay, now before I put the sushi on here, before I put the wasabi on the final touch to this nacho here, these are going back on the bench. Okay, so just like the sushi, try to put some on top of the sushi here. There we go. Get on there, you bastard. That's good wasabi. I got some on my fingers. I managed to get the last drop of that wasabi on that 5th one. So there's like 5 of them with wasabi and 2 of them that don't have it. But that's alright. That's good wasabi. And there you have it, folks. Look at that. I want you to look at it, YouTube. Yeah. That wasabi is a spicy motherfucker. But there you have it. Sushi, pizza, nachos. Wasabi, 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 wasabi. And then 2 of the pieces don't have it. That's how you make sushi, pizza, nachos. Exclude this last couple of steps if you don't want sushi on yours. So I'm going to go set the camera down on my desk and let this cool off for a bit before we get into it. That looks dank as fuck, YouTube. It's got everything I like. It's got pizza ingredients, it's got Doritos, and it's got sushi, and it's got wasabi and soy sauce. I mean, this is as weird as it gets, YouTube. Look at that. Get it. Alright, so I want to set this down right here to cool off. That plate is still too hot to sit in my lap and eat, and my phone battery is about to fucking die. Classic. So let's see, I need my phone charger first. For just a millisecond. I'm gonna plug this into the power strip. There we go. Got the phone on the charger so I can finish this video. Camera set up. Hold on a second. There we go. Oop. Not quite. Scoochie. There we go. Perfect. Now I got the camera sitting up on my desk where you can see me go to town on these nachos. I grabbed me some soda. Smoked the last of my pipe tobacco while the nachos cool off. But really not too much difficulty making these. This cooking video pulled off smoothly. This is definitely like, you get nachos are kind of a Mexican type of food. Pizza's an Italian food. And sushi is an Asian food. So you got Mexican, Italian, and Asian cuisine on one plate. Damn. Oh my fucking god, that just smells so good. Like, I'm drinking at my buddy Phil's house, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing for a cooking video when I get home. Because I'm like, do I want to do a burger? Yes and no. But I think, do I want to put a fucking pizza on? I'm like, yes and no. But the shit I use to make my burgers and my pizza needs to be cleaned off. So I needed a cooking video that I could do. I needed a cooking video that I could do legitly on a plate. So this is, you know, this people see this, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? Like, dude, it's sushi pizza nachos, that's what it is. And I got the phone on the camera and the phone on the charger, I meant to say, the phone on the charger just in time. Sweet. Haters gonna hate, but I'm eating weird ass shit for YouTube and it's getting views, so yeah. My mouth is watering just looking at this. Ooh. I also have a spare keyboard that you see sitting in the chair over there in the box, so that could help towards my next album. One second, tubes. A little something to wash them nachos down. We got Mountain Dew Throwback. Show that logo. Not a sponsor. So, strangely enough, YouTube, I got a copyright strike on my latest Linkin Park video, but it didn't affect my channel in any way, shape, or form. Like the latest video, me singing it, I should say. it basically, all the ads that are on YouTube are going to make the record company who legally represents that band money. So, plus it'll make them aware of the stats that video gets, that sort of thing. So, because I was like, okay, I did a decent job of singing Linkin Park on YouTube, and it didn't get silenced. Huh. I checked my email and turns out I did get a copyright strike, but it wasn't bad enough where the video had to be deleted. The audio didn't get silenced. I didn't even monetize it when I uploaded it. Gave full credit to Linkin Park in the description box. Did everything I could think of. But in the future, if I sing songs on YouTube, it's got to be through my headphones, which I can do that on live, you know, because Photo Booth doesn't want to cooperate with me. Before I pour that, I should probably turn it so that there we go. Trying to pour soda with the fucking nozzle facing the other way, that would have been a fucking disaster. You know, could you imagine if I would have poured the soda from like way the fuck back here, just like, I mean, it would have worked, but that would have risked spilling it, and I'm just like, no, turn it this way, there we go. People treat me like I'm stupid because of my autism. It's a very negative stigma attached to having any sort of mental disability. Is if you're considered retarded, whether high functioning, low functioning, whatever the spectrum may be, any form of sort of retardation, and people just assume you're stupid. And quite often, if you have a disability and yet you live on your own, and if you can barely function in society but you still get by despite your struggles, then fuck what everybody else says. Can crush for sushi, pizza, nachos. Yeah. Now, the reason I say this is because I was watching a video that someone took off my channel, and they basically edited out a bunch of shit to make it short and sweeter and to the point, you know what I'm saying? And I was reading the comments. This was a video where I'm riding my bike around town, doing a review on chocolate Swisher Sweet Cigarillos. And because I was riding my bike, I had my helmet on, and someone left a comment in the YouTube section of that video saying, well, I'm glad he's wearing his helmet. Special needs kids need to wear their fucking helmet. It needs a flashlight. He didn't say it just like that, but that's basically the equivalent of what he said. And I went to go respond with a comment saying, yeah, your mom thought I was special last night. And before I hit post, I look at the comment, and the comment was like 10 months old. And I stopped and I thought about it for a second, YouTube. I'm like, what good would it do me personally to respond to a hate comment that's like 10 months old? Because since that time has passed, I've gained a shit ton of subscribers. So he can talk all the shit he wants. I wanted to say something like, you know what, dude, fuck you. I was riding my bike around town. I'm riding that bike and wearing a helmet for my fucking safety. And you want to crack jokes like that when there are people out there who legitimately have to wear a fucking helmet because they're retarded. And you want to make fun of shit like that. That's not funny, dude. There are people out there who legitimately have to go through that. And for you to make jokes about it is just truly disgusting. You know, I wanted to say something like that was in-depth and, you know, very much social justice type comment. But I realized that the 13 people that made the comment with the thumbs up, you know, like 13 people liked the comment, and, you know, it was 10 months old, and I'm just like, you know, those 14 people can eat a load of Asperger's. You know what I'm saying? Like, And that's the cool thing about it, YouTube, is usually people who are so retarded they have to wear a helmet are blissfully unaware of their condition and they're just innocent, you know. So you can crack all the jokes they want, but it don't take much to get them happy. You turn on SpongeBob and give them some chocolate milk, they're golden. That was a horrible joke to make, but it's the fucking truth. You want me to be blunt about it. Like, some of these people are just, they're like little kids, you know. They're happy by the simplest of things. And for some odd reason, they don't let their disability get to them, even if they're mentally unaware of it. It's still the simple fact of the matter is you're making fun of somebody who has to go through that kind of thing, which in all circumstances, YouTube, makes me grateful that my autism is not severely worse. There are people who have autism who struggle to function in society, whereas I personally can barely function in society. There are people with autism who struggle a lot worse. And for people to call me retarded because I have autism, I look at them and say, yes, I have high functioning retardation, so I guess you could say I'm retarded. But for people to sit there and assume that people with autism are stupid, it's, like I said, a negative cliche that people have about any sort of like mental disability. You know what I'm saying? You could have Down syndrome, Tourette syndrome, you could have... And that's when I realized, of course, and I've always realized this, that trolls don't give a shit. You could have cancer and lying on your deathbed making videos to give people motivation, you know, to not let life get to them. One of those kinds of videos. And there'd be someone out there talking shit on you. You know, you could make a video standing up to social bullies and people talk shit on it. You know, and I disabled the comments on my videos because I was a lot happier making YouTube when I didn't have to sit there and read through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you let the trolls get to you. Okay, if I let the fucking trolls get to me, then why the fuck am I still making videos? Why the fuck am I still singing on YouTube, playing guitar, and despite being a little bit drunk, trying to make a video, knowing that I'm going to slur my speech, mispronounce my words incorrectly, try to seem like I'm a bit more suave than I really am. But to be fair, I had like maybe 3 or 4 drinks, and that was it. And it wasn't enough to get me super plastered, but it was enough to get a good buzz going. So to cool off from that alcohol indulgence, sip on some non-alcoholic goodness, flush out my kidneys, you know. Yeah. Like, I'm looking at this plate of nachos that I just made, and it's like, oh, dude, that's a work of art. I don't know if I want to eat it or frame it. Nah, but should you really consume alcohol and make shit like that? Why the fuck not? I cleaned my stove, which is easy as fuck after letting the oven cleaner sit there. Washed my hands and made a dank-ass plate of nachos. I don't want it to cool off too much because it's still gonna have that string pull. Yeah, the plate's still pretty warm on the bottom. Incredibly hot, actually, but it's cooled off enough. Or it's cooled off just enough to where I can sit it on my lap and eat it. Ooh-wee. It created this massive lump of nachos. So let's get the first pull of this on camera. Look at that cheese, baby. Yeah. Boom. Sushi, pizza, nachos. Dude, that's not half bad. I think I just about had a mouth orgasm there. This is the kind of nasty shit you want to see me eat on YouTube. Well, I got you on that. The sushi itself is still cold, but yeah, this is good. Get the fishiness. Now you get the fishiness of the sushi mixing with the pizza effect from the nachos. Yes. String pull. Yeah. This is definitely as weird as it gets, YouTube. Cheers. I'm digging it. I'm digging this recipe. I mean, if you already like the ingredients that are on this plate, then you really can't go wrong. Now, if you're at a party and you make this big ass plate of nachos, I go, what is this? Sushi pizza nachos? What the fuck is this madness? And you see me eat it, and it's like, okay, he's actually eating what he makes. Okay, there you go. Oh, look at that cheesy pull, baby. Oh, that is nice. I got like 4 pieces of sushi left on this bottom half here, but I'm definitely munching on through it. Yeah, this one's got a little bit more wasabi on it. I like wasabi. It's good. Ow, that's spicy. Holy shit. Yeah. It's like the Asian version of horseradish. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. My eyes are watering just a little bit. That's good wasabi. It ain't wasabi if it ain't clearing out your sinuses. Instead of trying to put the whole packet over the entire plate of nachos. Do little dollops of it on the sushi. As much as I can. Yeah. Now, if I make some weird ass shit like this, you know. The second thing I'm going to say, is, well, if you have a mental disorder of some sort, don't let people, you know, don't let assholes affect your outlook on life. Now, yes, I did bully a kid when I was in high school, and I don't regret it. The reason why is because he fucking pestered me. This kid would pester me and my friends during school hours, and the teachers refused to do shit about it. And then me and this kid would fight constantly, verbally. He's just lucky it didn't escalate into physical. And it's just nice to see that, okay, when I'm getting bullied, the school doesn't do shit. But if I bully someone else, you know, it's quite unfortunate. But, I mean, I've let it go. I'm just saying that that's the kind of shit you remember. Now you're going to focus on that when you're eating dank-ass nachos with sushi on them. Yeah. The chewiness from the cheese, the pepperonis, and the sushi, complemented with the crunch of the Doritos and the spiciness of the wasabi. And then you get the soy sauce flavor mixed with that pizza sauce. Yeah. Like, legitly, I had this kid bully me in the same exact school I speak of. And instead of taking him out of art class, they put me in an extra study hall that I didn't need. So not really addressing the issue, just kind of sweeping it under the rug. And how I got the bully to stop fucking with me was I kicked the bully's ass. So somebody who's been bullied in school for most of their life due to the fact I have autism, and people think, oh, well, he has Asperger's, he must be an easy target. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not an easy target, for one. I'm not an easy target, and I don't ask for your sympathy. Fuck that shit. I don't sit here and make these videos explaining my autism and my life stories for you on camera, for your sympathy. Fuck that. I say them because I want to say, oh, you think you're having a shitty life, you know. I'm not saying that to complain about my life. No. I'm not. People get it twisted. Oh, there's gothic King Cobra bitching about life again. Oh, that's original. A cynical goth with Asperger's. Oh. A cynical goth with Asperger's. That's original, right? Yeah, so fucking original. No. I bitch about life to make others aware of the fact that everybody struggles. Not just me, not just you, everybody. And, well, I think it gets misconstrued quite often. People will, they'll put words in my mouth, they'll start rumors, put words in my mouth that I didn't say, start rumors, you know, stupid drama. I mean, YouTube is just like high school. Every channel is like a clique. YouTube says, oh, we don't tolerate bullying. If you're being bullied, report it and we'll deal with it. But the way YouTube's system is set up in regards to bullying and cyber harassment, it's set up to where you control people pretty easily. I mean, I literally had, excuse me. I literally had, like every 5 minutes, someone would create a stupid account with a name, making fun of some video I made, using some poorly photoshopped picture of me, and they would comment stupid shit in the chat of my live streams on YouTube. So I go to the channel, I'd block them, thinking, okay, maybe they get the hint to quit fucking harassing me. And they kept on doing it, and kept on doing it. And I laughed at their sorry asses and just kept on blocking them. Nachos. When it comes to trolls on YouTube, you have to be cutthroat. And what I mean by that is you have to be ruthless. Ruthless. Do you think trolls give a shit if you have cancer or Down syndrome or any of that? No. Trolls don't give a fuck who you are, where you come from, your background story, what sort of disability you may or may not be struggling with, your life struggles in general. They don't give a shit about none of that. They don't give a fuck what your sexual preference is. They don't give a fuck what sex you identify as. They don't give a fuck about your ethnicity. They don't give a shit about you or anything you are. The only thing they care about is pissing you off. And a lot of YouTubers will say, well, just ignore the trolls and they'll go away. Now, here's where I'm going to be the one guy that's controversial to that. What happens when you ignore bullies in school? The problem gets worse. Well, imagine that. And quite often, you'll see these kids, committing suicide or pulling a mass shooting because they're getting fucked with and no one's doing shit about it. And it's not the way to solve things, man. You got a bully, you kick their ass with 1 and 2. Simple as that. Sure, you might get in trouble for fighting, but here's the thing. Give it at least 4 months minimum. If you have a legit case of bullying at your school and you're being harassed by someone, and if you've gone to staff with the issue several times, and it's been like 4 months, and if staff members at your school have not made the problem go away, but if they've legitimately made the problem worse, then that's when you kick the bully's ass. And you might get scruffed up in the process, but the fact that you stand up to your bully, and even if you have a slight chance where you might get your ass handed to you, the fact that you even attempt to do something like that, and sure, you might get in trouble with the principal, and they might look at you and say, well, we don't tolerate bullying during school hours, right? You can look at them and say, well, you can look at them and say just that. You know what I'm saying? And when would you say something like that? As soon as they say, oh, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, we don't tolerate violence during school hours. And you could look at them, you could look at them and just be the biggest fucking smartass possible. Oh yeah, just like you don't tolerate bullying neither. And they'd probably look at you and be like, alright, get out of here, you smartass. Here's the thing about YouTube. If you're being bullied on YouTube, you can block people from your channel. Because 9 times out of 10, reporting it to YouTube doesn't do shit. YouTube is constantly growing as a website. And the majority of YouTube grows off the backbone of trolls creating fake accounts just to fuck with people. Because these trolls are too much of a chicken shit to post their face on camera. A lot of people who talk shit on me for my videos quite often would not have the courage to post videos of themselves making strange-ass concoctions, whether it be drinks, food, post videos of themselves singing, playing guitar for the whole world to ridicule and judge you for, despite knowing the fact, okay, they have a mental disorder and, you know, struggling with it day to day and overcoming it. At least enough to a point where, you know, yeah. I'm actually savoring these nachos. These are pretty fucking good. I got like 2 sushi rolls left and a pile of cheese to go. Go ahead and tear another one off. Look at that cheese bowl. It's kind of piled. It's not. The cheese is kind of piled up. I didn't melt it all the way, but enough to where it's melted. Hooey. I probably could have melted the cheese a little bit longer. However, the cheese on the bottom of these nachos would have gotten really crispy. And that makes pulling them apart rather difficult. So, I mean, either way, I'm not complaining because this right here, YouTube, is a dank-ass plate of nachos. I mean, you don't like sushi, that's fine. You can just make a regular plate of pizza nachos, too. Oh. But could you imagine if you were a sushi connoisseur and you go to a party and you see this giant-ass platter of nachos just sitting in front of you? And it has all this stuff on it. You're going to be like, okay, what? Huh? And I did a lot of things off camera before I made this recipe. It took several hours for that sushi to de-thaw properly. But if I'd have been a bit more patient with it last time around, that burger I made would have tasted a lot better. I mean, either way you shape it, I'm not complaining because that sushi burger was delicious. These sushi nachos are fucking delicious. I'm not always going to take you along the crazy ride of my crazy food ideas, but this one I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going for it. This is going to be a cooking video on YouTube. Me eating food and bitching about society. Ooh, so original. So original. Get the last sushi roll and all the chips underneath all that pile of cheese right there with this wasabi sauce is right on there. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Now putting the cold sushi on hot nachos. It didn't heat up the sushi at all. The sushi stayed cold and chewy throughout the entire process. I mean, it's gonna stay chewy no matter what. But it didn't warm up. It didn't warm up the fish or any of that when I put it on there. And we're almost done with these nachos too, damn. Sad day. No, but here's the thing, YouTube. because I didn't overcook the cheese when I melted it. Look at that. This plate of nachos was easy as fuck to eat. I'm not sitting there going, needing a fucking chisel just to pull them off the plate. I would say that was like the bare minimum of what you want to melt it at. That's definitely the bare minimum for what you want to melt it at, considering how much cheese I put on it, but... YouTube, look at it. I cleaned the plate, legitly. How long is this fucking video? An hour long. Classic. And of course, I got nacho cheese Dorito powder all over my fingertips here from eating that. That plate of nachos was definitely very filling. That had an interesting texture of taste going on. Doritos disease, that's one a couple of years knowing the man. You get this thing called Doritos disease. You get the powder all over your fingers, and there's only 2 known cures. Napkins and water, washing your hands, or of course, licking it off your fingers. Okay, there's a couple of cures, but Doritos disease also comes in the form of Cheetos disease, which is the same thing and the same cure. The reason why I didn't put the sushi onto a actual pizza dough is because I didn't have enough wasabi to like coat the crust. That would have been sick to get like a shit ton of wasabi and mix it with some tomato sauce instead of trying to dollop it on top. And then like right when the pizza comes out, put the sushi rolls on top and then do a dollop of wasabi on each roll. Already with it baked into the wasabi baked into the fucking sauce and shit. So yeah, it's gonna take for fucking ever to upload to my desktop, but that's all right. And there's my staff drying in the vice clamp. Most excellent. And I saved the last of my tobacco right here for after the meal, or snack, whatever you want to call it. I think a fan that I was talking with on YouTube chat the other day said they ordered me some pipes and cigars product, so I should be getting some pipe tobacco in the mail here soon. That'll be nice. And you know my fans love me if they're gonna send me ramen noodles and pipe tobacco and what have you. Definitely smoking tobacco in my apartment. Wouldn't hurt to crack the window down, would it? No, it wouldn't. Anyways, it's your boy King Cobra back at you with another video. Making sushi pizza nachos. Thank you for watching my little cooking video here. I'll definitely catch you cool cobras on the flip side, yo.